2K Sports pregame show.
This is 2K Sports. I'm Ernie Johnson. Welcome to the NBA. We're joined by the legends Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. And in our matchup tonight, we'll see the Boston Celtics going up against the Brooklyn Nets. Last game for Brooklyn, they picked up the W against the Magic in Orlando. Feeling confident after a runaway win. We'll see if they carry over some of that momentum. And as we come up to the midway point of the season, Kenny, we're seeing some of the veterans who started slower now picking up the pace.
Well, I think early on, a lot of times, if you've been in the playoff for some veterans, the early going in the season is a little mundane. But then as you start seeing the light at the tunnel, they don't pace themselves anymore. And you want to make sure that you're in playoff position to make something special happen at the end of the year.
Excellent use of the word mundane, by the way. How about you, Shaq?
Well, Monday, experience told me when you need to go hard and when you need to pull back. You know, the best veterans will be there when it matters the most.
That's mundane, not
okay. I thought he said Monday.
Like mundane, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Got it, my bad.
Two different things.
Here's Kevin Harlan.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the
brave. 2K Sports checks in with their loyal viewers with the broadcast from Boston, the home of the Celtics. Happy holidays, everyone, from all of us at 2K Sports. And do we have a present for you today? This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. The Celtics are looking to grab one here for the home fans in Boston before heading out on the road. Well, they're entering a bit of a soft spot in their schedule, facing off guys against some of the lower-ranked teams in the league, and we'll see if they're able to take advantage and pad their win total.
This is a special matchup we got here tonight. Two rival franchises, a lot of history between the two, and some bad blood. So let's just see how all this adds up in terms of drama.
And guys, I think if you ask them, as far as they're concerned, this game counts twice in the standings. I mean, it carries that kind of weight. It really holds that kind of significance for both of them.
We've got a chance here to set the floor, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this one. Setting the floor for the Nets. We've got Johnson, Mills out there with Harden. Then it's Greg Monroe, and it's Griffin in at the 4 spot. Goes up, throws down the breakaway jam.
It's as if the defense just let him go.
He'll thank them for that because he got a chance to perform a little razzle-dazzle on that one.
And guys, Blake Griffin has got to be one of the more humble stars in the league. You rarely hear about off-court issues in interviews. He was engaging and comes off kind of as a regular guy.
That's the way it appears to me, Kevin. The young man has his head screwed on pretty tight and both feet on the ground. He started out as a class act, and he stayed one.
Harden, that's good. First quarter, about a minute and a half in. Let's send it out to DB, who caught up with head coach Brad Stevens. Doris?
He knows a big part of winning this game will come down to how well they can guard Blake Griffin. He said it all comes down to positioning and preventing him from getting inside, both on and off the ball. And guys, he's willing to concede some open jump shots to Griffin to do that. We'll see if Griffin can make him pay for it. Back to you.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris. Now here's Johnson. David Lee missing his last shot. Mills dishes to Griffin. Goes up on the high post, and too long on the shot.
That's exactly how you have to defend him. He's a guy that the D needs to be aware of at all times.
It's Brown with the drive. His second shot goes in, off to a good start, 2 for 2.
I tell you what, guys, it's going to be a tough day on this defense if he's got the A game rolling tonight.
Harden kicks to Griffin. Screen by Monroe. And the pass to Harden. Joe Johnson on the wing. Lets it go. Good. It's Harden with the assist that time. And a little over 2.5 minutes gone here in the first. Brown against Harden. It's That's not as easy as he made it look, guys. You've got to have some skills to pull that baby off.
Well, he's got plenty of those skills necessary.
And you know what?
Man.
That man can climb a ladder.
So it's Brooklyn now after the basket by Boston. Harden kicks to Griffin. Shot clock at 5. Unloads. No good off the front iron.
Well, I tell you what, that's too good a look to pass up there. Even though it didn't go, that's one you got to take.
Thomas goes in. Can't hit. And it's the Nets taking it the other way. They come into this one having outplayed the Magic last game.
Yeah, the confidence just exuding in that performance on the offensive end. I mean, really illustrates how this team clicks when guys are communicating and executing as a cohesive unit.
Yeah, roadkill is hard to get in this league. I mean, to be a great NBA team, you've got to be able to have that kind of performance on the road. Focused, purposeful, and productive. Really solid.
Just call him the Beard. James Harden, not just iconic, but also entering the conversation for the best player in the NBA.
And speaking of Harden and being the best, he'd certainly tell you so. He referred to himself as the best all-around player in the league. What do you think?
And I think he's right in that category. A lot of people laughed him off when he said that, but he's been a legitimate MVP candidate. His defense has gotten better, and obviously his offensive game is off the charts.
Now here's Harden. A 23-point game for him in the win against the Magic in Orlando.
Yeah, but I also thought the rebounding was impressive. He got some huge boards in that game. That's one he knows he should have drained.
It's Brown with the drive. Johnson with the block. Oh, and a fast break for the Nets. Here's Griffin. There's a whistle, and it goes on Isaiah Thomas. That's his first foul.
Yeah, clearly he hadn't established position there.
Yeah, and I like this call because you want the refs in that situation. If there's any doubt, err on the side of giving the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player. That should have been a block, and it was.
And here's Mills from the arc. It's good. The assist that time from Harden.
A good open look, and he splashes home the 3.
Celtics trail by 5. They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Sure could, Kev. I mean, too many empty trips. They need some points.
Lee sets a screen for Thomas. Passes it to Lee. Harden against Brown. The Celtics need to get a shot off, and it's a defensive 3-second violation. The Celtics shooting their first free throw this game. And the technical free throw, missing that time. They'll retain possession here, however. On defense, the Nets leading by 5. Thomas kicks to Brown. There's a whistle, and it goes on Isaiah Thomas. That'll be his second foul of the game.
That's his second foul of the first quarter, and they may want to sit him for a while to avoid number 3.
Marcus Smart's checked in for Isaiah Thomas. Now here's Mills. He's guarded closely, and the basket good.
And that's the kind of move that will always pay off, even against tight defense like he was facing on that possession. And guys, every time we think Patty Mills is going to take the next step in his development, he takes a step back. Last season, he shot career lows from the field and behind the arc after having one of his best ever campaigns the year before. That really just makes a coach pull his hair out, and fortunately for me, I don't have any.
Back to Mills. The Spurs could have used his contributions last year. Parker was hobbled. Corey Joseph was still learning. Mills didn't put together consistent efforts and ended up losing minutes, Clark, because of it.
Yeah, you know, Mills had the opportunity to make an impact or a championship contender. That chance doesn't come very often. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the most of it.
Here's Mills after the basket by Boston. Screen by Monroe. The feed now to Harden. Shot from the wing. And Boston with the rebound. The Cobra's got his third rebound on the night. Brown kicks to Smart. Pass to the Cobra. Beyond the arc. Joe Johnson pulls it in. Brooklyn leading by 6. He dishes it to Griffin. Shoots. And the shot falls short this time.
No doubt it's been a bit of a struggle for him here in this quarter in terms of scoring.
Smart passes to Brown. Lee powered down with both hands.
And just a step ahead of the D in that possession there, making the pass. Nice assist.
Now here's Mills. He had 10 points in the win against Orlando.
And was a force on the defensive side as well. 4 steals over the course of that game.
And the Nets miss again.
And he made sure not to just draw the foul. That was good defense out on the perimeter.
Very good. He's a thinking man's defender. Knows how to bother even the best shooters without being overly aggressive. Even though he isn't having the best of games from the floor, it hasn't seemed to hurt him.
And that one's good. And now just a 2-point Nets lead.
That's a quick bucket there. Solid in transition.
Well, you know, he loves the chance to get out and run, and we could see right there why he does.
And the first timeout called of the game for Brooklyn.
And really just trying to take the wind out of their sails here, I think. You know, they're on the wrong end of a run and need to just kind of exhale.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to stop the bleeding. Things were starting to spiral completely out of control, and I think a timeout was a no-brainer there.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Horford comes in for the Cobra, and it's T.J. Warren in for Lee. The Nets also changing it up. Booker, he's checked in for Griffin. Millsap comes in for Joe Johnson. And Harris subbed in for James Harden. Now here is Harris. He's coming off a 13-point game against Orlando. Clock at 6. Here's Monroe. Another miss, and they've really hit a rough patch here. The kid passes to Brown. To the wing right side. Smart, wide open, he fires. Can't tie it up as that one misses. Booker dishes to Monroe. Harris kicks to Mills. They set the pick. He got an advantage there off the pick and took it right in.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job of the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
Brooklyn shooting their third free throw attempt of the game. Avery Bradley, he's checked in for Boston. And a switch here for Brooklyn. Thomas Robinson, he's checked in for Monroe. Free throw good. Mills. So the Celtics call timeout. They're first. Their last game a win against the Lakers, looking to carry it into this one.
You know, they played well enough to win, but to be honest with you, I just felt like their opponent's defensive performance was shaky at best.
Yeah, I'd go along with that, Greg. I mean, the game wasn't handed to them, but they definitely didn't have to work as hard for it as they should have.
Harris with it. Now guarded by Bradley. Harris kicks to Mills. Dishes it to Booker. Pass to Harris. Brooklyn needs to get off a shot here. Stolen by Smart. Outside Bradley. There's the screen. Warren sets the pick for Bradley. Kicks to Warren. Three-pointer. Rebound, Brooklyn. Last time they met was in Brooklyn.
Really a resounding loss the last time they matched up. They got absolutely manhandled on the boards.
And Greg, you know how it is. At some point, you just got to man up and play with a lot more aggressiveness and toughness and pride inside.
They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin, the offense has basically been running in place.
They got to get going.
Another bucket in the paint. That's something they just have not been able to stop today.
Yeah, the defense is all about disrupting timing and spacing, and what they've got going right now is not getting it done.
Here's Harris. Marcus Smart picking up that last basket. Harris kicks to Robinson. Puts it up. Collects the two-pointer near the hoop. Robinson's got his first points in this one.
They've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotations and getting the ball into the paint.
Clearly, they've been the aggressors thus far when it comes to attacking the interior in this first half.
Now here's Smart. A look at his stats. He averages a bit over 8 points a game.
He's hit the ground running here in the first, putting together a nice quarter offensively.
Brooklyn's gotten just 2 of 6 to fall from three-point range so far in the first. There's a screen by Robinson. Here's Harris. Offensive rebound. Second shot opportunity, and Robinson with the layup.
You know, he didn't need to make the layup complicated. I mean, it's not a trick shot contest, but he decided to go for a little extra flavor on that one.
And that one's good.
That's just run-of-the-mill for him. A typical day at the office. He's one of the more skilled offensive players out there.
.111 left to play here in the first. Mills passes to Millsap. They set the pick. Robinson sets a screen for Harris. The three. That's in for the first basket of the game after 3 attempts.
You know, the defense was lax right there, and he's able to make them pay.
And here's Smart. He's got 5. To the middle. It's deflected. Stolen by Robinson. And here comes Harris leading the fast break. And again, Brooklyn with the triple.
And they've done the job on the offensive glass.
I like the activity there, keeping the ball alive and creating some second chance buckets.
Now here's Smart. He feeds it to Bradley. Horford against Robinson. Horford kicks to Warren. Just 5 on the clock. And he banks in the lane.
I'll tell you what, the defenders didn't even get a sniff of him on that move to the hoop.
Now Mills. 9 points in the game so far. He kicks to Millsap. Goes up the baseline. Can't get it to go. And that does it for the first quarter. Nets lead by 6. And back with the start of the second quarter in just a moment. And Celtics head coach Brad Stevens lured away from a very successful tenure with the Butler Bulldogs. He talked about the challenge of making that decision. I wonder if Coach Brad Stevens feels like he's recruiting another college class with all those draft picks Boston and stockpile.
Well, I don't know how he would address that question, but I do know he's feeling real good about his decision. I mean, taking the Celtics to the playoffs in just his second season, I mean, I think he's one of the bright coaching stars in the NBA today. It was the NBA's game and college basketball's loss when he moved on to the Celtics.
Well said. And we welcome you back. Glad to have you with us as more basketball is on the way. During the break, the players getting refueled with Gatorade. They're looking amped up and ready to get going once again. And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for Brooklyn.
They've definitely had a hot hand from three-point range. Always nice to get off to a good start.
Well, the job of penetrating that they've done so far has really been excellent. I mean, they've done a nice job driving to the hoop effectively.
On the court right now, second quarter starting for the Nets. Johnson is out there with Griffin. Then it's Harden. Then there's Harris. And it's Monroe in at center. Now here's Brown after the miss from Joe Johnson. Brown kicks to Thomas. Here's the Cobra. Great D that time from Griffin.
Now, nice work there to contest the finish inside.
You know, they got the shot they wanted, but his defense, deterred them from those playing. I like the fact that he led his teammate right to the ideal spot. You don't always throw it to your teammate. You throw it to where he needs to be.
Warren sets the pick for Thomas. There's the pick. Lee outside. On the wing, Brown. Screen by Lee. It'll go, and the Nets lead is cut back down now to 4 on the bucket from Warren.
Some defensive breakdowns are starting to show up now. Their last 4 buckets allowed have come from very close range.
Yeah, high percentage shots are what they are getting in terms of the attempts, and that's just not going to get it done. They've got to figure it out.
Now here is Harris. He's got 6. T.J. Warren had a very interesting start to his NBA career. Spent most of the first half in the D-League, and the second half, Clark, he finally got some minutes and really provided a spark.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't have great range on his jumper right now, and he's not an elite ball handler, but he's one of the best cutters in the game. Moves well without the ball, so I think his future is bright nonetheless.
And Harden comes to help. It's Brown with the drive. That's good. And now just a 2-point Nets lead.
3 consecutive baskets have come right at the rim. Defense had better start buckling down and tightening up.
Guys, they are getting exposed in terms of their low post defense.
Now here is Monroe. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against Orlando.
And he also controlled the backboard as well. I mean, he really did a terrific job.
A nice shot by Griffin.
And talking about TJ, guys, he put up a few interesting numbers towards the end of last season. Shot 64% from the field in March. Had 18 points in one game, 17 in another. The last game of the year, he chips in with 6 assists. So now it's up to him to put it all together on a more consistent basis.
Now here's Harden. Isaiah Thomas unable to get his last shot to go. Picked by Griffin. Monroe down low. Looking for his first basket still in this one.
And, you know, getting back to TJ, yes, he needs to improve his shooting range. But what I'd like to see are major improvements on defense. I mean, he shows active hands when he's near the ball, but he can also be a bit lazy as a defender and gambles and reaches too much. That won't get it done at this level.
And guys, as much as Isaiah Thomas can help you on offense, at times he can hurt you on the defensive side. Immediately posted up by whomever he's guarding, you have to give help. And of course, that leaves your defense vulnerable, particularly on the weak side and controlling that defensive backboard.
First free throw is good. Greg, you're talking about Isaiah Thomas before. Certainly his short stature limits him on Clark, the defensive side.
Yeah, but you know what? He doesn't rack up a ton of steals, given his instincts and quickness. I think he really focuses on making his impact at the offensive end.
And both free throws good for Thomas.
And Isaiah Thomas, traded last season from Phoenix over to Boston, seemed to be a matter of fit and not production as to why they moved him.
Johnson attacking to the right side. Griffin inside. He's against Lee. Griffin can't get it to go in. Boston trailing. And you were talking about Isaiah Thomas. He had no love lost for the Suns. In their first meeting, he took them apart, Clark, on the floor. Remember that game? Stared them down as he was hitting shots. Looked at that bench, man. He had a big chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, and you know, most guys that are a little undersized and have battled doubters all their careers bring that kind of edge anyway. You throw in the fact that he was disappointed how the trade unfolded. He was amped up and ready for that return visit. He was the first one to react to that miss. Excellent anticipation on his part. A hustle play on the putback by him.
Harris kicks to Harden. Rebound, Boston. Thomas with the ball. His last outing with 20 points. The dish to Lee. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
And David Lee missing time early last season with that hamstring injury also opened the door up for Draymond Green to kind of take that starting power forward role. And give Lee credit, though. Didn't sulk, just threw himself into his new role as a super sub.
This is his first free throw of the game.
Numbers this year at the line below 70, so when he's getting to the line, not nearly as effective as you'd like.
You know, his performance at the foul line this season might be the first thing he points to as a priority to improve.
Greg, you're talking about David Lee, the 2-time All-Star. Pretty much a starter most of his career, though a big change, Clark, as he came off the bench this past season after he was injured in the preseason.
Yeah, you know, you think about his game, though, Kevin. Highly skilled, mobile, smart. Gives you energy and scoring. I think he's ideal coming off the bench.
So after making the first, he goes 1 for 2. Well, David Lee with the Golden State Warriors began his career with the New York Knicks. We're talking about him and his play, and it's sometimes hard to get a good compass on what kind of player he is.
Yeah, you know, he was drafted 30th when he came out and certainly played above that draft slot. Then when he re-upped for the 6 years, $80 million, people started to wonder if he was able to play to that value.
Brown, good.
And when they've gone to him, he has come through big time. You got to keep getting him touches.
The Nets have gone just 33% from the field in what's been a cold second quarter for them. Just 3 of 9. Harris outside. Thomas against Harden. That shot goes in. He now has 3 field goals and 6 misses today.
And getting back to David Lee, before the big contract, he was putting up some huge lines. I mean, he was the first Knick to go 30 and 20 in a game since the great Patrick Ewing. And he became the first NBA player to record at least 35 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists since Kareem back in 1976.
8 of the last 10 points at that end of the court have been scored on very high percentage shots in the paint.
And really, there is no resistance defensively right now. It is just far too easy.
Now here's Lee. An 11-point game for him in the win against the Lakers. It's Brown with the drive. And basket number 6 to his stat sheet. He's now 6 for 10.
And, you know, back to David Lee, we all know about his struggles with the Warriors, and many had written him off completely. But then at the end of last season, he showed that he still has the energy and skills to contribute if given minutes.
Here's Johnson. 9 points last game. Here's Monroe. No good off the front iron.
They've been strong on the boards. There's no disputing that.
That's what the box score says, but still anybody's game.
Brown against Johnson. And it's Brown missing.
I guess even he has to miss one of those once in a while.
He muscles it in through the contact, and they call the foul. And he's on his way to the free throw line.
I tell you what, fellas, we're seeing some really good ball movement out there.
Definitely. 10 of their last 12 points have come off assists.
When you think of James Harden, you don't think much about his athleticism. His strength, though, is exceptional for his position.
Yeah, I think that's his greatest attribute. His ball handling's good, but it's his strength. He's able to run through contact.
Looking at who's out there now for the Celtics. Al Horford is checked in for the Cobra. The Kid comes in for David Lee. Bradley's checked in for T.J. Ward. And Smart subbed in for Thomas. The throw good, James Harden.
And Harden able to get wherever he wants on the court. I mean, he can muscle you, but he's also got that Euro step and all those moves that just leave you in a dizzy.
Now a timeout called by Boston.
You know, and Harden, you think about how elusive he is, but at the same time, he's a guy that seeks contact. I mean, he'll entice a defender to try and reach in, and a master salesman when it comes to getting those refs to blow the whistle.
Here's Smart. He's got 5. And there's the pass to the kid. Brown against Millsap. Millsap with the steal. Oh, and here comes Robinson all alone.
How's that for a quick possession?
Yeah, no hesitation at all taking that one to the basket. Beautifully done.
Here's Smart. Here's the screen. Feeds to Horford. Let's go. And the shot is good. Dropping in off the front of the rim. Horford's got his first bucket in this one. Brooklyn leading by 4. Now here's Harden. He's got 13. No good from Booker.
Good pick, but he just couldn't make it count.
Yeah, nice job of setting the screen by his teammate there. And I'm sure he appreciated it.
Now here's Bradley. Passes it to Smart. On target from 13 feet. Now just a 2-point Nets lead. Brooklyn's gone 0-2 from deep here in the second. The feed to Harden. Pass to Booker. Brown against Harden. He dishes it to Booker. 5 on the clock. Mills, that's a 2-pointer. Great D on that shot, and it's off the mark. And here's Smart. 7 points in the game. Now Horford. Picked by Horford. Brown wide open. He fires. And again, it's Boston converted.
Really hard to find fault with anything he's doing this quarter, at least at the offensive end.
The Nets have gone 7-16, shooting just under 50% here in the second quarter. Harden dishes to Mills. Back to Harden. Fires the 3, and he gets it to go. Harden's got 16.
And boy, has he picked it up since the start of the second. His shots now starting to fall.
The kid passes to Smart. Down low, here's Horford. Some solid defense from Robinson.
Usually if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
Outside Millsap. Wants to get it to Booker and does. In the foul on Avery Bradley. Harden kicks to Millsap. Shot clock at 6. Back to Harden. 3-pointer. And Millsap snaps it in.
And a few more points tacked on to their lead in the cruelest way possible.
You're right. Those putback jams sting, don't they? My goodness.
Yeah, they really hurt you. I mean, the defense forces a miss and then can't rebound it and finish off the defense. They're hanging their heads in their chest now.
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over.
And Paul Millsap, guys, the only player to lead the NCAA in rebounding 3 straight seasons back in college. A former second-round pick, was kind of slept on, but now clearly making his mark in the NBA.
Boston making a switch here. Lee's checked in. Celtics trail by 5. Brown outside. Pass to Smart. Booker pulls it in. Greg, you were talking about Millsap's ferocious rebounding. He battles inside, but Clark, he is so skilled.
Yeah, he's just really a good all-around basketball player. He can pass, handle, step out, and hit the three. Very, very versatile. He makes an impact on the game a lot of ways.
Now Brown. James Harden missing on the three. Here's the kid, and he uses the glass on the layup. The kid's got 6. Nets leading by 3. Harden kicks to Mills. There's a screen by Robinson. Now here's Mills. He's covered closely. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Robinson. Drills the baseline jumper. 8 points for him. 40 seconds left to play here in the half. They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Sure could, Kev. I mean, too many empty trips. They need some points.
Smart kicks to Brown. Screen by Lee. Lee sets a screen for Smart. No good on the 3.
Not able to find it here in the second. He's off stride and off track just a bit after that one he had earlier.
There's a screen by Robinson. Harden against Brown. Mills dishes to Harden. Robinson passes to Millsap. And it would have counted had it fallen, but it's offline. And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half. Nets out in front, up 5. And now let's catch up with Doris Burke, who's standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Thanks, Kevin. I'm here with David Lee. And David, tell us what your approach was defensively in this game tonight.
Well, we made some mistakes here and there. Our biggest thing is if we don't turn the ball over, I think we're going to be okay. They got a couple easy buckets in transition.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys at the table.
Thank you, Doris, for that interview, and we'll see you back here after the break for the third quarter of basketball.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, joined by Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. We welcome you to the halftime show on 2K Sports. It was a fast pace for Brooklyn at the outset. They were able to stretch out their lead to 8 points on the heels of a few stops and some quality offensive possessions. Once they got on the scoreboard, they were relentless at staying out in front, never once letting the lead change hands. Going through the second quarter, they started to look a bit fatigued, but played well enough to enjoy a 5-point cushion here at the half. And from what we saw so far from the Nets, Kenny, what's your takeaway?
Well, give them credit for getting out on that fast break. They made a concerted effort to run every time. Not once, not twice, every time, and it paid off in points. I also thought it wore down the defense.
And Shaq, what are your thoughts on Boston?
Well, I thought the one bright spot was the effort on the glass. Several times when momentum was sliding, getting a timely rebound really lifted them. The strong work on the glass is key because that's how you string together a series of big stops.
And that's it for halftime as the second half is just about to get underway. See you after the game.